What's up, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for the week that was in the wonderful world of sports cards and shenanigans. Hope everyone has had a great weekend. Got a few things to touch on before we get into the normal charts and graphs in the wonderful world of market movers. Links down below. Don't forget to like, sub, all the YouTube nonsense. And let's get into it. So it was a very newsy week. I will not go into details into everything because there was a ton. And I made videos on pretty much all of it. So please refer to the earlier videos of the week. But pretty much the biggest thing that happened this week was the grading shakeups. PSA raises prices. HGA adjusted their cap system slightly. What else? SGC raised prices. CSG started kind of really taking submissions. It was one of the wilder weeks in regards to sports card grading, which drastically affects the sports card hobby that we've seen in probably quite some time. PSA basically almost tripled price or doubled prices in most cases. SGC went up $10. HGA adjusted their cap. So what they did was, I saw on social media, they are going to limit you to 5 cards per order. And then they still have their weekly cap of, I believe, around 3,200. But this is a way for them to try to make bigger inroads to allowing more people to get cards in. I would like to try them out. I don't have any sports cards at the moment that I am like desperately looking to grade. The thing that appeals to me about HGA, I do really like the labels. I have tons of questions about them, and it's going to be a while before I view them as, like, I don't want to say legitimate, but like I just need to know more before I throw, a full-throated support behind the HGA bandwagon like the rest of the internet is. They basically came out of nowhere. They got some cool things. They got the marketing. They got the splash. I just need to know, are they legit or not? So time will tell, but I'm willing to give them a chance. I'm not going to necessarily fight through a queue. And what I would honestly really like to use them for is some Marvel trading cards. I like, in my mind, having seen a bunch of their slabs now, like, I don't know, a Spider-Man Marvel Universe with a red and blue splash at the top sounds very appealing to me. Like, okay, I could see that. Or, a yellow and blue Wolverine suit with a yellow and blue splash at the top. Or, whatever. Pick your black suit Spider-Man or Venom with a black and white splash up at the top on the label. To me, sounds really freaking cool. So, but as of right now, they are not doing anything non-sports card related, which is fine. I get it. They have their hands full enough as is. So maybe I will consider them in the future once they open things up more for that. I can probably dig through my boxes and try to find something to spend, but it still sounds like the queue process is very frustrating with them. So SGC did their thing. I'm not going to go into it. I did a separate video specifically on that. A lot of people are not happy about them raising prices at all. I kind of understand why they did it, because I feel like if they didn't and they just said we're open for business at $15 a card, they wouldn't be able to keep up. So from their perspective, they're probably saying, okay, this is going to cost us orders, but we're making more per order. So it'll kind of all net itself out in the long run and won't cause us to fall behind like it did last year. So we'll see how that shakes out. The biggest problem with SGC, and I've said it a billion times, is the market does not respect their slab right now, at least for modern. Vintage is a whole different story. For modern, the market just does not like their slabs. I have a feeling there's going to be an update to either at minimum the label. I won't guarantee, but I'm guessing the next major thing that they announce is a label switch to something more eye appealing. That's been the biggest knock on them. I like the black. I just don't like their current slabs. They're a little too big and they feel a little flimsy in my opinion. But certain cards do look really good with the black around it. So it is what it is. If they can hit turnaround times and people can constantly churn and burn with them, maybe the market will begin to respect their slabs a little bit more, but only time will tell. PSA did their thing. Interesting thing there was I talked to a couple smaller group submitters, not big time ones at all, and asked, how has the prices affected their submission levels? And the one that I spoke to said it basically didn't touch it. All it did was cause people to move things to slower times, but cards are still pouring in. So we'll see what happens there. And the interesting thing there is at the faster levels, the group submitters, from what I've seen, are basically not getting huge deals on pricing. Most of the places that I've seen this submit regular service, which on your own is $100 a card, is like $95 through a group submitter. So unless you're dropping off in person to the group submitter to save on shipping costs, I don't know that you're really saving a ton of money versus just doing it on your own. I mean, there's still some advantages there if you need someone to review cards and stuff like that. But that was the big news of the week. There's going to be long-lasting ripple effects from these grading changes. I just don't think we know what they are yet. I mean, people are speculating left and right on how it's going to affect graded card prices, which one's going to be number two. How does this affect raw card prices? How does this affect breakers? How does this affect people chasing sealed wax? We don't know, but there are going to be ripple effects from this. Whether it's another grading company moving up and taking second slot or other things that no one's even thinking of. So the interesting part to me is what happens when people rip 2020 Prism basketball in a month. In the past, basically every rookie that you pulled would essentially go to PSA. I don't know if that's going to be the case now. So other little odds and ends of things. I hit the Columbus card show yesterday. It was fine. I thought prices were a little high and it was packed. I was there right when they opened. And they were absolutely slammed. It started at 10. I was there at 10 after, and you basically couldn't even move in there. Maybe I'm just getting old and cranky, but I don't know that card shows are for me. I just get annoyed. So crowds of people, I don't want to fight through people to get to a dollar box. I don't want to get ran into constantly to look at a $5 box. I don't want to yell over people to ask for pricing. I just get annoyed by the whole thing. Like I said, I don't know if I'm just old or spoiled by the internet that I could just look up the card and buy it on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or whatever's, and just have the card shipped to me and not even leave my house. I would like to go and try to like make some trades and stuff, like move existing inventory for other stuff that I want, but it is just so hard when it is that crowded. And the other thing, guys, and I've never set up a show at a card table, so what do I know? I haven't sat on the other side. Is it that hard to price your freaking stuff? And is it that hard to just price it at eBay comps? Why do we have to play this constant game of Luka PSA 10 Prism is all day on eBay for $1,350 to $1,400? Why do you have to price it at $1,600 and then we have to do the whole, oh, how much is that? It's $1,600. Okay, well, how about like 13, like eBay comps on that we all have mobile devices that we're all going to look this up in 2 seconds says that you're like $150 to $200 overpriced. Can we just like cut out the nonsense? I don't know. Once again, maybe I'm just old. Like, we all know the comps. This isn't 20 years ago where you had to go like dig through the Beckett and then talk to the shop owner and then see what your grandpa's uncle's cousin heard about it on the radio last night. I just don't understand. Like, we all have instant access to what these cards price for. As annoying as using eBay sold listings are and 130 point is, or market movers or card ladder or whatever, sell the peak, pick your poison. We all use it. So just price the cards accordingly. My firebox that I took with me today, every card that I had in it, I had a little piece of painter's tape on the team bag / graded card bag protector thing that the slabs go inside of. And I just wrote the last eBay comp on it. Why is that hard? It took me 15 minutes. I did it while I was watching TV. And then if anyone wanted to look at my stuff, there's the most current eBay comp. You don't want to believe me? That's fine. Go check for yourself. But like, what advantage is it for me to make up an eBay comp? Okay, and a rant. Sorry, had to get that off my chest. I was annoyed. I am planning to hit. There is a show in Cleveland next Sunday. My early plan is to pop in for that. The last Cleveland show was pretty good. I haven't been to this one yet, at least in a long time. So I'm going to check that one out. And as you're listening to this, if you're listening first thing Sunday morning, I am probably on my way to a comic show. Yes, I know, comic books, in Cleveland on Sunday morning to check that out and see what's what. So those are a little random update nonsense, shenanigans, whatnot. Let's get into what is moving and shaking price wise in the wonderful world of sports. Sorry for the long preamble, but a lot of stuff happened this week. All right, full disclosure on this one. We're going to start with basketball, then we're going to move into baseball. I own a ton of this guy. I own a ton of this guy's physical cards, and I bought a ton of this guy on Star Stock. So take it for what you will. And anyone that's watched the channel for a very long time knows that I love myself some Kevin Porter Jr. And KPJ is back in our life. He has blessed us once again with his presence as the Rockets recalled him from the G League early because they want to integrate him in as the number one, or basically their sixth man off the bench. He's going to run the second unit to start. KPJ's a head case. Who the hell knows what he could do? But I fully believe at minimum, he is probably going to be a Star Stock or real life quick flip. His prices are already up a decent amount. I still think he's too cheap in general, which is why I went and bought more. And I bought PSA 10s of him on Star Stock. So his PSA 10 currently in the real world is going for about $100 on the week. It was one of the cards that rose the most based off that news. It's up 35%. $100 now for a Prism rookie with a pulse is kind of like a pretty decent deal. And KPJ definitely has a pulse, and he definitely has a massive following. If he comes out after the All-Star break and starts scoring like crazy, like he is prone to do, his prices could really, I could see him skyrocketing fast. Most of the KPJ that I have been holding for this very particular moment. I've already offloaded some of it way back in the off season to cover my costs, but KPJ number one on the list. And once again, I just wanted to fully disclose I own a lot of him. Not much graded, but just a lot of like random prism color, mosaic color, optic color. I was buying it by the crap tons last year when he was dirt cheap. So do with that information as you will, but I am biased. Next up, one dipping. Donovan Mitchell down 10%, down $65, back down to $550. He spiked all the way up over $600 for his base prism as the Jazz went on that little run there. If you're interested in Mitchell and feel like you missed the window, I feel like this is your buy the dip opportunity. Because I don't see him going all the way back down to where he was probably for a long, long time. The Jazz still look really freaking good. AD has injury issues, and the Clippers could clipper. So, I'm not saying the Jazz could make the NBA Finals, but they have an above average shot to make the NBA Finals. If the Lakers have any injuries whatsoever to LeBron or AD, and the Clippers, to me, are a paper bag. They could be pushed over so easily. I could easily see the Jazz sneaking in there. And if they do, his stuff's going to go way up. And he's been playing absolutely fantastic. So if you missed the boat on Mitchell, you're buying in at a slightly inflated price. But this might be your time to sneak back into the market on Donovan before he spikes back up again. And I definitely think that he could. I really think you could probably buy him now and hold to the playoffs, and then move it like in the first round of the playoffs or whatever if you were worried about him getting bounced early. I still feel the NBA market is going to, the modern NBA market is going to bounce back around the around the trade deadline. I've been saying that for a few weeks now. You see little signs of life here and there. In general, a lot of it's still flat to slightly trending down. But I feel like as soon as we start getting all these rumors from the Wojs and the Shams and the Lows and the Windies of the world, it's going to shift money back into the modern market. That's just my 2 cents. I could be wrong. DeAndre Hunter way up this week, 36%. Also back up to around $100 for his base PSA 10 Prism. Not surprising. He went out with that knee injury after playing great. I think he is due back shortly after the All-Star break, and the Hawks desperately need him. I mentioned it before. He's the player I was probably the most wrong about this season. During the offseason, I was not big on him or Cam Reddish. Flip the coin. I got both. I got one right, one wrong. Reddish has been pretty bad. Hunter was pretty darn good. So hopefully he comes back from that knee injury okay. But this feels a little too cheapy for him, even at the $100 baseline. Maybe it dips back down again. Double check the injury news on him. I did not have a chance to do that before hopping on here, but I could easily see him popping back up again. He was super trendy in late December, early January, right when the season first started, because he was playing very, very well. Zion continues to creep back up. He's up 12% on the week, up $80, back up over $700 to $750. And he has been playing absolutely fantastic. I've never questioned Zion's talent. I just worry about him long-term due to the body. But dude is balling. And I mentioned it a bunch recently. He is getting all the media love. Every time Bill Simmons speaks, he's raining praise down upon Zion, and justifiably so. He has been playing absolutely fantastic. So if you wanted to jump back on the bandwagon, you probably should have done it already. But I always feel like Zion and like Luka's prices kind of dictate what the rest of the modern market's doing. So I find it encouraging that Zion stuff is starting to rebound. I don't know if that's a trend that we will see trickle down to the other stuff, but in the past, kind of how Zion and Luka and Trey and Ja have done is kind of like a quick take temperature gauge on how the modern NBA market's doing. Luka keeps bouncing around between 1,200 and 1,400. Trey Young's really down. And Ja's kind of floating as well. He had a really nice game right before the All-Star break. But Zion's definitely trending up. And if you haven't noticed, Luka's playing out of his mind the last week. We'll see if that carries over post All-Star break and if maybe they make a move. But so that's it for basketball. But yeah, Zion, probably your last shot before he keeps going up, especially if he has a monster All-Star game tonight. Baseball. Whoo, boy. Shohei Ohtani week. Pretty much, if you have an Ohtani rookie card, it probably went up about 20% this week. He was all over the baseball charts. And this is one of those lovely things about baseball where the dude has 17 rookie cards that baffles the hell out of me and why I hate collecting modern baseball. And I only stick to a few specific players and cards. So actually I have two different versions of Ohtani up here. This is his Topps base and his Topps Chrome pitching, both in PSA 10, one paper, one chrome. The chrome is up 70% on the week, and the paper is up 15% on the week. So 106 for the chrome and 57 for the paper. If we move over to Topps Update, once again, paper and chrome, you could see the same trend lines. The paper update is up 23%. The chrome is up 26% for $100 and $77 respectively. But Ohtani stuff is flying up. I really hope this dude lives up to the hype. I hope they let him play every single day. I would love to see the numbers that he could put up in the dual role with getting, full or next to full, at bats and also pitching. I'm super intrigued by him, but the dude just has not been able to stay healthy. So he's a huge risk. This is a classic Northeast Ohio ism of if I had multiples of his stuff, I would definitely be selling off if I made profit on him. If I doubled up, if I bought low on him and I've made double to triple my money back on it, I would definitely sell off a percentage of my Ohtani stock, if you will, and then free roll some into the season because this guy has yet to prove that he could really stay healthy. So that's my 2 cents on it. Do what you want, but that's how I like to roll. I like to limit risk as much as possible when it comes to sports cards. Tatis Topps base is up quite a bit this week. 10% up, $32. Touching 350. You're getting close to it. The Chrome's maintained relatively flat to slightly up. I did not pull that chart, but it hasn't moved a ton. But that thing's touching anywhere from 480, 490 to 500. And the paper was kind of lagging behind. I think the paper is just kind of playing its a little bit of a catch-up process here. As the Chrome kind of outpaced it as the first one to move. And now the paper is kind of reprice adjusting. So if you need a Tatis and you're priced out of the Chrome, you can hop on the paper. Like I said, that Chrome's getting pretty pricey. And I'll be curious to see, Tatis, Soto, and Acuna got really big spikes multiple times already in this offseason, and we're just barely into March. What happens to their prices? Like, how good are they going to have to play to maintain the prices? I mean, we just saw it in the NBA market where these guys saw huge price increases, like Trae Young, for example. And then they came out and they played fine, but they didn't play like, oh my God, you're the second coming. If that happens to any of these three, are we going to see big price pullbacks on them? We saw the same thing in football, where, as the season wore on, most football players went down. So, like, how good are Soto, Acuna, and Tatis going to have to play to justify where their current prices are at, especially on Soto and Tatis, like their paper rookies? The population counts on those are astronomically large. I mean, we're talking like Zion Prism levels large, and you have the paper and you have the base for both those cards. So there's a lot of their stuff out there. And when you have that much pop on a card, it doesn't take a lot for it to drop quickly because everyone just starts undercutting each other. I'm not saying like the floor is going to fall out of these guys, but this is the old adage of this might be the most expensive these guys are the entire season. They're going to pull back, drop back 20 or 30%, re-level out, and then we'll kind of see what happens as the season goes on. I don't know. I'm just speculating based off of what we saw from both the football and the basketball market. That's a long-winded way of saying, to repeat what I just said about Ohtani, if you have multiples of this card and you got in cheap or you've made good percentage on it, it might be worth selling one of them off, two of them off, depending on how many you have. Once again, that is kind of the Northeast Ohio sports card way to cover your bases. That way you could free roll one by selling off one or two if you bought multiples. If you didn't, now you got tough decisions to make. Franco, Wander, Bowman Chrome. Dude hits a home run, prices go nuts. PSA 10, Bowman Chrome. These things shot up 15% this week. They actually went up a little bit more if I ran the charts back just an extra day or two because he hit the home run last weekend, I believe. But he's up to 340, almost 350 on his Chrome, and these have really shot up over the last year. We'll see how things shake out. Does he make the team? Is he for sure coming up? I don't know that we know that yet. I haven't heard definitively one way or the other. But he's basically the number one prospect in baseball that if he's not up immediately to start the season, he will be up very shortly, depending on if the Rays jerk him around with MLB playing time stuff. So, but it's flying up the board. Once again, another one you probably should have got in already. If you haven't, maybe you could still hop on. And that is all I have for you guys today. Just looking to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I did not. So, YouTube stuff down below. Like, comment, sub. Don't forget. Videos for this week. Let me think really quick. Monday morning is probably going to be a Marvel video of some shape or form, or non-sports card video. I've not done a Marvel trading card market update in quite a while, so we will probably hit that Monday morning. And then from there, I don't know. So we'll see where the week takes us, but that's probably definitely coming Monday morning. Other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.